The Illusion of Safety. I am Pavlo Lapikov, and before I ever thought about podcasts or books, I was simply a man who had looked fire in the eye and lived to tell the story. Twice, I thought my life was over. Twice, I believed fire would win. Twice, I walked away. Perhaps that is why I feel compelled to write this. Maybe fire gave me the chances so I could share what I've learned. Yes, I hold a master's degree in fire safety engineering. Yes, I have spent more than 2 decades as an inspector, investigator, engineer, and consultant. But degrees and job titles don't capture the truth of fire. Fire does not read codes. Fire does not respect inspections. Fire doesn't care if your paperwork is perfect. What matters is people, decisions, culture, choices made in the minutes before a flame or the years before construction. I have carried a hose into burning buildings when others ran out. I have sat at drafting tables designing walls and systems, knowing they might one day mean the difference between survival and tragedy. I have worked underground in mines, where smoke is a death sentence if it is not controlled. I have stood in nuclear plants, where even a spark could ripple into disaster on a national scale. And through it all, one lesson has echoed louder than alarms: safety is never absolute. What does it mean to be safe? Codes promise us a reasonable level of protection. Standards assure us of life safety objectives. The words sound comforting, but let's be honest, there is no such thing as absolute safety. Not in a car, not in a house, not even with your morning cup of coffee. Safety is not the absence of risk. Safety is controlled risk. That control is fragile. It depends on design, discipline, and culture. It depends on whether managers cut corners to save money. It depends on whether workers drill until instinct kicks in. It depends on whether communities believe safety is paperwork or a way of life. The illusion that kills. The most dangerous thing I've ever seen is not fire itself. It is the illusion of safety. Grenfell Tower was safe. The station nightclub had exits. Mines had ventilation. Nuclear plants had procedures. On paper, everything looked right, but when the fire came, paper burned. People did too. I've seen it with my own eyes. Twice I nearly didn't escape. Once as a child. Once as a worker. In those moments, the building code didn't save me. Training, instinct, and maybe just stubborn luck did. That is why I cringe whenever someone says, "Don't worry, this building is safe." Safe for what? Safe for who? Safe until when? Lessons etched in fire. Mining taught me that safety meant buying minutes, keeping smoke at bay long enough to reach the surface. Nuclear taught me that safety meant perfection because a single uncontrolled fire could poison generations. Architecture taught me that shortcuts, a thinner wall, a missing seal, a cheaper door can turn escape into entrapment. All those worlds taught me the same thing: safety is never guaranteed, but it can be shaped, controlled, strengthened, if we treat it as philosophy, not just engineering. Fire safety as philosophy. So, why call this philosophy? Because fire safety is not just about pipes, wires, or concrete. It is about questions that no code can answer. Do we invest in prevention or only celebrate suppression? Do we act before tragedy or only after? Do we accept the minimum or demand more? These are not technical questions. They are human questions, ethical questions, cultural questions, and answering them is the revolution fire safety desperately needs. A new beginning. I survived fire twice. I don't think that was an accident. I believe I'm here to ask and try to answer what it really means to be safe. So, as you turn the page and step into this journey with me, ask yourself, the next time you say "I feel safe," are you measuring the risk you control, or are you leaning on an illusion? Because the revolution of fire safety will not come from more clauses in a codebook. It will come from a shift in how we think. From engineering hands guided by philosophical minds. From a culture that cares about lives, not just compliance. This is where our story begins.